MTG Ownage.
Welcome back to Finance Friday. I'm your host. My name is Matt. You're watching MTG Ownage. We're going to look at the biggest movers in card prices, cardboard, MTG, of the week since last Friday. And of course, this is not financial advice or anything like that. We're just having some fun. I don't know why I got headphones on when I don't actually need them. So yeah, let's take a look at the movers. Let's get right in. All right, first, let's just do a quick overview of all the additions, and then I'm going to go over the cards I'm a little more personally involved with. All right, let's dig through it. The weekly standard change. This is the standard. So this is what's been moving. The Wandering Emperor up about $3.50. Soaring City going up. Desert Beach, Cultivator Colossus still going up. I still don't know where this is played exactly, but all right. Some of the pathways, Needle Verge, Branch Loft, Go Blank still on the rise. This uncommon from Strixhaven, interesting. This is very much like last week's. Same cards kind of moving. Hive of the Eye Tyrant, new on here. Haunted Ridge and Stormcarved Coast. Alright, so those are the modern stuff going out. Or modern stuff. Standard stuff going up. And here's the standard stuff going down. I don't see any big ones except for Ranger class continues to tank. I guess people just stopped playing it altogether. But it's still a cool card. It's just, I don't know. It is cool. My experience, it's not as good as you think, but it is also sometimes incredibly good. I don't know. Hullbreaker Horror is really cheap right now. Caretaker's pretty cheap. I don't know what else to say about these. Interesting though. Alright, let's take a look at some modern cards real quick. I'm being real lazy about this using these lists, but hey, I'm trying to save time here. Alright, we have, what is this? Scarblade Elite just went from 50 cents to $18. A 2-mana 2/2, or remove an assassin in your graveyard from the game, destroy target creature. I guess that's not terrible, but what just made this thing spike? It's interesting. Some kind of assassin deck. Alright, and we got Wargate going from about 5 to 20 all of a sudden. What's going on here? I don't know. People are probably just brewing these new decks and coming up with cards they want 4 of. And when that happens, people pick up the list, everybody wants to try to build the deck. The cards become hot. Yeah, you know the deal. Wargate, switch your library for permanent with converted mana cost X, so let's put it into play. Okay, this directly from your deck into play for 3 mana and X. That's not bad. Why was this ever so cheap to begin with? But yeah. Okay, Hellcarver Demon, 6 mana for 6/6 flying. Oh, this one. It's a mythic, but whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you sacrifice all permanents you control and discard your hand. Sounds like a terrible drawback. Then you exile top 6 off your library. You may cast any number of them non-land cards without paying their mana cost. Not sure what the big deal with this is. I mean, it kind of stinks to sack all your stuff. You get 6 new cards, but that's rarely going to be enough to replace your board state, I would think. I don't know, maybe this is played in some specific deck where they sneak it out turn 1 or something. I'm not sure, but kind of interesting that it went from like $1 to $16. I remember looking at this demon when I was building demons in Commander, demon deck, and thinking there's no way I'm ever playing this one. This was terrible. Sack all my lands? No thanks. Alright. Not just lands, just everything, but it was the sack all the lands that was the biggest deal for me. Like, no. Alright. Gemstone Caverns. Oh wow, this thing's up to $46. Yeah. Devoted Druid spiking pretty heavily. Oh, it was only $3. This is a common. Alright. I should know this, but I don't actually play Devoted Druid like ever. Although it's obviously an infinite combo thing that everyone uses. Yeah, up to $10 now. Bronze Bombshell. Okay, what a card. What the heck is this? It went from like $2 to $10 all of a sudden, pretty much. When a player other than Bronze Bombshell's owner controls it, that player sacrifices it. The player does 7 damage to him, her. Okay, so this is one of those giveaway cards, and it does 7 damage. Now, it's kind of the same with what? I don't know. I guess you could give away the Hellcarver Demon, but it has to deal combat damage. I don't know. I don't understand the meta these days, but we're seeing a lot of these cards that aren't necessarily good on your board, but are particularly good for you if your opponent has them on their board. So there might be some deck with that shenanigans, because there's also a few other things. Well, there's Time Sieve. You sack 5 artifacts, take an extra turn. This thing's suddenly going up to $10. Kind of interesting. Eater of Days, which is notably one of the worst cards ever. When it comes into play, you skip your next 2 turns, but it is a 9/8 flying trample for 4 mana. Skipping your next 2 turns kind of stinks though. But yeah, this basically went from like $1 to $8 all of a sudden. So pretty crazy increases. Fire and Ice going up a little bit, making the list. It's pretty good. And Tomb of Yawgmoth going up about $5. Yeah, these are these specific copies, though. Other copies might be doing different things. All right, let's take a look at what Pioneer's doing. All right, so wow, we're seeing some pretty big things. Days Undoing is going up to 33. This thing has been kind of hot the last month. I think people have been playing with it as far as, you know, it's just a time twister basically. I don't know how it ever got so cheap to begin with. Ending your turn kind of stinks, but if you find a way to do this at instant speed, it's really good. And ending your turn isn't always the worst thing. It's not great, but you know. All right, Ren and Siri going up some. Just the dog cat deck, I guess, is hot right now in Pioneer. These are the biggest ones. All right, Thing in the Ice suddenly going up another $7. I think there's some decks being built around this. Just, I guess a new tournament season is happening or something. I don't know. Temporal Trespass. This card is going up pretty extensively. You know, being able to pay 3 blue for an extra turn is kind of crazy. As long as you have at least 8 cards in your yard to delve with. So I'm not surprised to see this go up. Kalidas going up. Kalidas is pretty good. We got Mana Confluence going up. Kind of expected, you know, Mana Confluence is always going to be going up. Mox Amber, also, it's a Mox. It's going up, but it's always going to be going up. Hero of Dominaria, reaching $30. Wow. Spire Bluff Canal, I guess these colors have just been hot, so it's one of those fast lands. And same with Botanical Sanctum, another fast land. Yeah, those are pretty much always going up. Botanical Sanctum still pretty affordable, though, compared to, like, the Spire Bluff Canal. Alright, that's Pioneer. Let's see what else we got. I guess we'll have a quick look at Pauper in these commons and see what we're working with here. Okay, Tangle. Oh, that's a nice fog. It's fog for 1 more mana, but also their attackers don't untap. Oh, that's really good, actually. $5. These are all commons. Some of them might be printed in uncommons, but at some point they were printed in common to be on this list. Well, we're not going to go over it. I'll just scroll over it quickly. I think Tangle's the most interesting of them. Then you don't get to untap is so much cooler than a regular fog. Snap, Broken, Sprite. Yeah, really good. Counter. Merchant Scroll, yeah, of course, Merchant Scroll. It's really good. And all the usual suspects. Some solid cards here. Alright, let's take a look at Legacy. Now, these are some old cards, so there's just some massive numbers as usual, but we're seeing some huge increases recently. Wow. Okay, of course, Tabernacle. That's gonna... It's basically a land that works as sort of a board wipe stacks piece. Huge. It went up... I don't know if these are real prices, but wow. It went up over $1,000. Measura's Workshop. This card's just totally broken for artifact decks. You know these cards probably already. Underground Sea going up. Plateau going up. Savannah. I don't know. What copies are these? Unlimited. These are the unlimited ones. Unlimited dual lands going up. A lot of unlimited cards in general have been going up. Lord of the Pit suddenly goes up $90 more. Wow. Miser's Factory. Bayou Tundra. Yeah. So you can see kind of where Legacy's going. You know, all these old unlimited cards, especially the ones that are reserved list, they're going to be going up pretty quickly. I think there's been a lot of predictions of that, but you never know. It's just kind of a safe bet in general if you want to not lose your money in Magic cards to get some of these unlimited cards, especially when they're on a down tick or right when you kind of know they're going to go up. But it is what it is. Let's see what else we got. All right, and on the vintage list we have Chaos Orb, Contract from Below. Not huge changes. I guess Chaos Orb's kind of a big change. Is this even legal? Can you actually play Chaos Orb in what is this, vintage? I didn't think so. You could. Or Contract from Below. What is happening? Aren't these cards banned that say anti on them? Why are they all upticking? I don't know what's going on with this list, honestly. It's whatever. We're not going to talk about it. Instead of vintage, shouldn't they? It looks like they should just be calling this and the banned movers and shakers. These are just banned cards. Why? I don't understand. Okay, whatever. Alright, now let's get to my list. One I wanted to talk about specifically was this wedding announcement card. It very recently, it wasn't on any of those lists because specifically this extended foil version, very suddenly went from like $3 to $20 on Wednesday or Thursday. It was just like one day it was $3, the next day it was $20. So a huge move all of a sudden on this foil extended wedding announcement. I don't know if it even shows here. Apparently they show a spike of going up to $512 here, which makes no sense. So I don't know what the heck's really going on here. But as you can see, obviously that's not the price of it. But yeah, you can see here it was around $3-4 for a long time, and then just suddenly shot up to 20. And interesting happening. I don't know about these other copies. We can check them. Let's see what else we got. Let's check like maybe just the regular extended, see if there's any movement on that. No, pretty calm. It's just that foil extended one just went crazy all of a sudden. Yeah, we already saw time sieve, but here it is again. It just very suddenly spiked like crazy, so there must be a deck coming out around it. Another card we're suddenly seeing some movement on is Despotic Scepter. I actually really like this card. I play it in one of my decks sometimes. I think it's not in the cut right now, but this was like a free card. This card was worth nothing for a long time, and I guess it was $1 or $2. And I picked one up for my Blim Comedic Genius deck, because sometimes you get stuck with a permanent you don't want. This was perfect for that, or, you know, it's decent in Blim Comedic Genius. I don't know where else exactly this is decent. Maybe to get rid of your own Necropotence or something. But anyway, it just very suddenly just spiked. It went from whatever its base price, $2, $3. This is the Ice Age copy, of course. Suddenly to 10, and now apparently it's up to 15. So it is just moving like crazy all of a sudden. Not really sure why. I'm willing to bet it'll have a pretty big pullback once people decide they don't want it anymore. This is specifically the Ice Age one, but there's no other printings of it. The others are online only, I believe. Okay, so yeah, that's Despotic Scepter suddenly moving. Glad I got one before this huge spike, because that is nuts. I would not pay that for this card that I barely even play if it ever makes the cut. You know I love these revised reserve list cards like Wheel of Fortune. It's just been steadily ticking up. It notably has gone up a little this week. Most of the dual lands have gone up again as well in revised. I didn't really talk about them, but Tundra was the big winner this week. Last week it was Underground Sea or Volcanic Island, I forget. But yeah, these are always just a general slow, steady tick up. They might go down a little bit one week, but then they go up double or triple that the next. So pretty steady move up on a lot of these revised cards. Wheel of Fortune and the dual lands, they're kind of all batched together at this point, because they're sort of in the same price range of most of them are like 300 to, well, they're approaching $1,000. So if you're in the market for these, probably best to get these before they go any higher. Not my financial advice, but you know, just I'm kind of thinking out loud. So you do you though. I just don't think you're going to be getting these cheaper in the future. It just seems pretty standard that they're going to keep going up. Also, that means if you're holding, it's probably still not a good time to sell unless you really need the money. All right, false orders. It's still on this list. I don't know what the heck's going on with this card. Even still, apparently it's still up here. I don't know why or what's going on, but it seems to be sitting around $50. However, you can still buy them for $2 to $5. So what does that mean? I don't know. They must be talking about the high grade copies worth $50, but the played ones are probably the $2 ones. It's just such a crazy price difference. It is just a common though. Yeah, it was last printed in unlimited. All right, let's not talk about this card too much, because who cares? But you know, it might be wise to pick up these cheap copies while you can, because it looks like this one's only going to continue to go upwards based on this weird craziness. No, I think it'll come back down because it's a common. I don't know. I really don't know what will happen, actually. Let's move on. Alright, pretty much all copies of the Meat Hook Massacre continue to climb. It is just, I think it's pretty much played in about every format it's legal in, so that might have something to do with it. I don't know if it's played in Vintage or Legacy, but I'm pretty sure it's seeing Modern, Pioneer, Historic, Standard, all these. Alchemy's not a real format. Yeah, some of these formats don't even exist. Or they do on, like, what is Alchemy only on MTG Arena, except it's a goofy different game. It's not even Magic. It's like Hearthstone, basically. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic. We're not talking about Hearthstone, so we're never going to talk about Alchemy unless we're bashing it, basically. So, yeah, Magic. This card's been hot, staying hot. Pretty much every version of it is hot. So, yeah, how far is this card going to go? It's been kind of crazy recently. I mean, it's still in print. It's a $70 card. You don't see that too often in a standard set. Alright, let's talk about the next one. Alright, we're looking at the Ozolith. The Ozolith has just been doing really well recently. It's up to $20 for the cheapest one. This one just being the old Ikoria one, I believe. Yeah. Oh, that's the Planeswalker stamp one is the cheapest. And okay. But I think, yeah, it's been on a pretty slow and steady rise these last few months, but some copies have been a little crazier than others. I think this extended foil one, you have copies of that. It just kind of went crazy one day, as you can see. And yeah, I got really lucky and cracked 2 of these foil extended from the only, I think I opened one pack of Ikoria Lair of the Behemoths, or one collector one or whatever of it, and I got 2 of these, and they weren't worth much at the time. They were like $5, so I was like, whatever. But that was way back around here-ish, I think. I don't know, maybe it was worth more. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, it's very suddenly up to 60, so I'm glad I didn't sell it or trade it because I thought about it. I wasn't playing them, but it's a really cool card. You know, it's 1 mana. It gets you this sweet effect of all your creature counters go onto it when the creature dies, and on the beginning of your combat on your turn, all those counters can go pile onto another creature. It just has this kind of crazy shenanigan of it's going to build up over time, and yeah, your opponents are going to lose. Really cool card. But yeah, that one's been hot recently. Let's see what else we got. I think we've covered most of them. There's a few more I want to highlight that weren't on any of these lists. Robe of Stars. This card has been pretty hot recently. As you can see, it just had a crazy spike from about $5 to 11 or so. And you know, it's kind of unassuming at first. It's an equipment for 2 mana. It costs 2 to equip. You gotta have white. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, it costs 1 to equip, 2 to cast, 1 to equip, so 3 mana you can get it on a creature. But all it does is give that creature +0/+3, you know, nice defense that can help it survive. But the real magic of this Robe of Stars is this astral projection. You pay 2 mana, equipped creature phases out. Now, I guess what people are doing with this, and this is quite clever, is you have it on your commander or something, and you know, you attack for the turn, and then you phase the creature out before your turn ends because it's tapped anyway. You just don't want it to be subject to a board wipe or anything, and you know, all your opponents take their turns, your creature's safe. So that's one way to do it. You can also save it to phase out in response, but also when it phases out, it also phases out all equipment and all enchantments attached to it. This is just one of those cards that doesn't seem obvious at first how good it is, but yeah, being that you can, you know, especially if you have a big life linker, is what they say. You have a big life linking guy, you swing with it every turn, you phase it out. Because, well, you could just wait and not phase it out on your turn, and then just respond to anything they do with, I'll phase it out. But then if they respond to you phasing it out in response, someone else can respond. So anyway, yeah, cool card. Phases itself out with the creature, so just that full protection is pretty big in Commander. Alright, let's see what else we got. Oh, also I should mention that this being printed in Forgotten Realms Commander set, you can only get it in the set boosters and in the Commander stuff, the Commander decks. And there was one other place, I guess you could get it in the collector boosters stuff too, but you couldn't get it in just the draft boosters. Archmage's Charm going up a little bit more. It's just been steadily climbing for like the last month. Now I think, and I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think they've actually announced that it's going to be in the newest Jumpstart. I'm not sure if that's entirely true. You could get the retro one in Modern Horizons 2, but yeah, this original one was yeah, it seems to be holding $30, which is kind of crazy for this rare. But if it gets reprinted, it's probably going to have a downtick, so we'll see. I wouldn't be investing in this one personally at this price. It's been up for a long time. Let's see, like I remember when this card was worth like nothing, like $1. Yeah, here it was. Yeah, I remember cracking these and thinking, crappy card, but it's a good card. It's really solid. We talked about it before. Let's talk about a few more that are coming back. I think we talked about this a little last week. But hey, it's Gristlebrand, the foil etched one. It's up about $5 this week, I think. Is this right? It looks like it went down, then it went back up. Let's see, maybe I'm not looking at the version I thought I was looking at. But the Secret Lair one, foil etched. And then there's just a regular foil one. Yeah, the picture's not here. But yeah, this one seems to be on the climb, somewhat as predicted. Alright, there's definitely a lot more on my list, but they're kind of minor movements, and we've, I guess, talked about, or at least breezed over most of them, so I'll shout out a few others that are kind of on the rise. Gashanth, Sun's Avatar from Secret Lair, going up a couple bucks. Ulamog, Ceaseless Hunger, going up. Damnation, going up. Some of the Shocklands are seeing some increase in prices, like Hollowed Fountain, Blood Crypt. Smothering Ties going up a couple bucks. Swan Song. Plainbound Accomplice. Apparently people just found a combo with this card. I'll bring this one up. Yeah, this card right here suddenly going from like $1 to about $4. So pretty significant increase in price for, you know, a dollar rare to suddenly not. Yeah, I guess there's some planeswalkers that go somewhat infinite with this guy, New Capenna. I forget the exact details, but you can look it up. So that has been triggering this spike as far as we know. I'll also mention this card. It's gone up a couple bucks, but it's not really on any lists. Ink Shield. This card is amazing. This card is a blowout. Yeah, it was from the Strixhaven Commander. It's basically a fog, except every damage prevented gives you a 2/1 flyer to crack back with. It just, if someone swings out at you and you have Ink Shield, you basically just win the game because it prevents all their damage. You get double the damage to return to them on your turn if you want, or you can split it up, whatever you need to do. This card is like just crazy. One of the best fogs. Yeah, it's 5 mana, but also it's 5 mana that is, when cast, you win the game basically. So it's no surprise that this is going up. Yeah, this is a crazy good card. It's reaching around $10 now. So I honestly think this is just going to keep going up because it's such a strong commander card. But you never know, really. It might settle down a little bit. But I think that's most of what I got. I got some more interesting stuff like Blasphemous Act and Gravecrawler going up a little bit, specifically the Secret Lair copies. But I guess that's the majority of the stuff. I'm trying to find if there's anything else. Idol of Oblivion. What the heck is this? This card went from about $4 to around, well, from about 3 to 5. So pretty solid increase. Not exactly sure why. But, you know, it's a decent little card drawing thing if you have a lot of tokens being created, and the fact that you can get an Eldrazi out of it eventually. I don't know, it's not like super good, but I'm not sure what is triggering this spike, but this card is going up. Well, honestly, my list never ends. I got more stuff. I got Golo's Tireless Pilgrim going up a little bit. Emergent Ultimatum going up a little bit. I'm not sure whether they're the same play. But a lot of little tick ups. And let's see, is there anything that absolutely tanked this week? Not really. I mean, we got some standard pullbacks. I'm not really going to mention them. Basically, you know, anytime there's a huge price hike one week, the next week it's kind of on the loser list. But usually that's not really that accurate because it, you know, it gains $10 and it goes down 3 the next week. And they're like, oh, it's on a downtrend now. It's like, no, it's long-term still on an uptrend. And we'll see that with a lot of stuff. Like last week, Underground Sea was up. This week it says it's down, but it's down less than it was up. And, you know, that puts it on the loser list, but I'm not even going to bring it up. We see that with a lot of stuff. Urza, same way. It's pulling back a couple bucks, but it also just went up like crazy. So I don't see anything too significant here to worry about on this loser list as far as cards fully taken. Looks like just some correction of anything else. All right, that's it for this episode. Let me know if you enjoyed it, and if we get 10 likes, I'll do a special speculation video sometime mid next week about like 5 to 10 cards I would invest in if I were you, or something crazy like that. Not financial advice, not financial advisor, but you know, for fun, we can look at some cards. I tend to be pretty good at guessing these cards that are going to go up, so maybe if you guys appreciate it and hit the like button a lot, I'll share some of that with you. But otherwise, I'm perfectly fine with just privately investing in these cards and making these kind of more public overview videos about stuff. All right, anyway, peace out, guys. Hope you're doing well.